raising our arms.
Okay, we should be live.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call to the order of the mayor of the, Brunswick City Commission meeting dated Wednesday, January 6th, 2021, a new year. This is a virtual meeting and that we will have our invocation led by me and our pledge of allegiance led by our Mayor Pro Tem, Ms. Julie Martin. She will recite the pledge of allegiance. Okay. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for what you have done for us in 2020. You have brought us through to see another year. We're so very thankful for the blessing you bestowed upon us and how you have helped us steer this city into great and greater heights. We're so appreciative of the love and the support that we've gotten from our citizens. And Lord, please continue to allow them to do such things for us, for this city. And Father, I call on you to please bless our nation, heal our nation. We have a lot of divisiveness in our nation, something that never happened before in the history of America. In other words, we always had a peaceful transition of power, but seems that we are divisive now, but I know you can heal us because this is our prayer. And Father, I pray for our local officials. I pray for the county officials, the new ones that have come on board. And I pray for unity amongst everybody in this nation, and mainly for our community. Father, all other blessings that you will bestow upon us, we are so grateful. These things we ask in your Son, Jesus' name. Amen.
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 Okay, the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you everybody for being on board. We will get right into what we need to do for this evening. Are there any additions to our agenda that needs to be added?
Mayor, I'd like to make an addition to the agenda. I'm not sure exactly where you want it, but it would be a resolution of the Board of Commissioners for the City of Brunswick requesting that Glenn County Commission begin the process to impose a 1% sales tax and use, requesting a call for an election of the voters of Glenn County to approve the imposition of such tax and for other purposes.
Second. It's been motion second for us to add that item to our agenda. I would think that we probably should add that since it's for approval, make that item, let's just make it 11A.
Or 9B
Or
or 10A.
Yes, as a matter of fact, yeah, we'll make it 10A. It's probably better. If that's okay, Commissioner?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. But that leads us into our next item right after that. So,
Also, Mr. Mayor, I'm in order. You still got this motion on the floor. Okay,
Oh, we have to vote.
Yeah, there's a motion on the floor that would need to be voted on.
yeah, motion second. 10A. Are there any questions to that? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed have the same right. Hearing none from the opposers, I believe the ayes have it. Thank you. So we add that in item 10A. Anything else, Commissioner?
Mayor, I'd like to offer motion that we move item number 5 on the presentations to item number 1.
Okay,
1A.
1A.
You wanna do 1A? Yeah.
Okay, motion, do I have a second?
I didn't understand what we're moving. What
We
we're
just-
Item number 5 on the presentation to item 1A.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion second to move item number 5 to item 1A. Further comments, questions?
So that's the meeting minutes that we're moving forward.
No. That is the Brunswick Centennial kickoff. Do you have different agenda?
I guess I do, yes.
It's item 5 on mine.
Okay.
Any further questions? All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed have the same right. Hearing none from the opposing side, I believe the ayes have it. Okay, we move that to item 1A. Okay, any
Yeah.
other?
I apologize. I was looking at a previously printed agenda and not the one that is in our packet. So thank you for reminding me.
No problem, Mayor Pro Tem. Any other items to add or delete from our agenda or move from our agenda? Hearing none. Okay, we will move right along. Our first item is the appointment, and it's appointment of our Mayor Pro Tem. Each year, we appoint a commissioner to become our Mayor Pro Tem. So I'll have the floor open for our next appointment to Mayor Pro Tem.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to offer a motion that Commissioner Felicia Harris serve as Mayor Pro Tem for the year 2021.
Second.
It's been properly motion second for Commissioner Felicia Harris to be appointed as our Mayor Pro Tem for the year 2021. Are there any further comments? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed have the same right. Hearing none from the opposing side, I believe that motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Thank you. I want to say Mayor Pro Tem Martin for your service and what you've done during the year of 2020. I know it's been a rough year with the pandemic and every other thing that's going on, but you serve adamantly, and I'm appreciative of your service. I think this whole commission is appreciative of your service and the way it was, everything was conducted, and letting people know that we are a very professional organization, and we have the interests of our citizens. And you have really shown that in your term and during your tenure.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it. And Commissioner.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
All right.
Appreciate your leadership.
Yes.
Thank you.
I want everybody to know that I know that this commission is one of the best commissions, and that the appointment of Commissioner Felicia Harris to our Mayor Pro Tem, it's just going to continue to just keep going right lockstep, get even better. So, all right, item number 1A was moved from 5 is Brunswick Centennial Kickoff. Mr. Matthew Hill is going to be presenting.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. I will make this brief. I know you have a rather full agenda, but this year, 2021, is Brunswick's 250th birthday. Now, you may think to yourself, gee, didn't we just have something a few years ago? In 2006, we had the sesquicentennial, which was 150 years since the incorporation of the city of Brunswick. This year is the semi-quincentennial. That's 250 years anniversary of the founding of Brunswick. As many of you know, Mark Carr was the first settler here in Brunswick. He owned 500 acres of land south of Dartmouth Street that was called Plug Point. It was a tobacco plantation. In 1771, the Council of the Royal Province of Georgia ordered that a town be laid out in that general vicinity, and they traded Carr some land on Blythe Island and on Cowpen Creek for his property in which to lay out the town. City was planned by George McIntosh. It was copied on the Savannah plan that Oglethorpe did. It was originally 383 acres, bound on the north by F Street, on the east by Cochran Avenue, which is now Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, on the south by First Avenue, and on the west by the riverfront. That original town plan, of course, included numerous squares, and the first commissioners of Brunswick took office in 1788. Many of these people we don't know much about now, but one of them was Lachlan McIntosh. He was George McIntosh's brother, and you may know him from Georgia history as the man who shot Button Gwinnett in the duel. So he was one of our first commissioners. So that's all for me, and I'd like to introduce our former mayors. Of course, we have Mayor Cornell Harvey with us tonight. We also have former Mayor Brad Brown and Mayor Brian Thompson. Mayor Knight, that's AC Buddy Knight, was unable to be with us tonight. But Mayor Brown, would you like to say a few words?
I'll tell you what, we got to speak a little earlier out front, but it's nice to come in here where it's a little warmer. I do appreciate that. But I'll tell you, in my tenure, and it was a fun time going all the way back to 1998 when I first took office, and seeing the things that were laid out then under the planning phases that we had, Blueprint Brunswick. This building that we're in currently was one of the projects that was completed during my tenure in office. But what's exciting to see is how those plans and those efforts have continued on. And even now, under this current city commission and under Mayor Harvey, we're seeing the fruits still coming about from plans that were set many, many years ago. And that's what's exciting to see, is how in this community that transition smoothly, easily for folks, unlike things we're seeing in our nation right now. And it's very appreciative to see that, and particularly to see when there are goals that were set and people continue on with those goals. And I have appreciated our commission since I've been out of office. And I think y'all see I sort of stay out of the picture as much as possible. Every once in a while, I stick my finger in it or my nose in it. I'm not sure which. But I tell you what, it's exciting to know that y'all are continuing on here. And I do appreciate the work and service that y'all have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. Pleasure to be back. However, briefly, I want to echo what Brad was saying also about how our commissions, even though, say, Mayor Brown and I are no longer in office, we continue to work together as a community. Projects, initiatives that Mayor Brown started, I picked up, and our commission working together began to help fulfill those and move those a little further down the road. When I left office, Mayor Harvey, the new commissioners that came in, the commissioners that came in a couple of years before I left, again, pick up that, add new things to it, continue to expand it, continue to grow, continue to make Brunswick a healthier, more robust, more inclusive community, which it always has been. When I was served as mayor, I would be asked to speak a lot of times for business people that were looking at the area, usually arranged through the chamber, through the college or whatever. I'd always tell the story. I'd say about Brunswick. I said, Brunswick is a very welcoming community. I'm a really good example of that. I'm a Northerner. I don't eat meat. I don't smoke. I don't chew, and I don't hunt. And I was elected mayor twice in landslides. I said, the same receptivity that this community gave me is the same consideration, receptivity, and consideration they're going to give you if you bring your business here. And it is absolutely true. And I see it every day. I live in the South End, and I've just seen over the past few years, our neighborhoods continue to grow and expand. It's so exciting to see many young couples moving in with children, which we didn't have in certain areas of the city for a while. And I'm seeing it all over. The great work that this present commission has been doing, certainly with the road work, most certainly with the sidewalks. And God bless you all for working to get some more bike trails in here. It's just phenomenal. It's all of these things working together. In and of itself, one project might not seem like a lot, but you start laying other projects in on top of that and alongside it. And before you know it, you've got something that's really great. And this is a really great community. I was very pleased to have served for 8 years, and I'm very pleased to call this Brunswick my adopted home of the past 25 years. So thank you all.
Thank you, sir. I want to thank Mayor Brad Brown and also Mayor Brian Thompson for their words. And as I will speak as being the sitting mayor, the three of us have all served 2 terms. And that's a testament of the support and also the dedication that we had to make Brunswick the best we can make it. And the support of the people, that they realize that the leadership that we provide, along with the commission that we serve with, will make things better for the citizens of Brunswick. And we have done that, and we continue to do that. And I'm so glad as I pass off the gavel to the next mayor that he or she will do the same.
Thank you, Mayor and mayors. Just one last thing. Over the year, we will be having various events to celebrate different periods throughout Brunswick's history. We will be putting together a book, a semi-quincentennial book, much like the Recollections of Glenn, and we will be doing a time capsule. So over the coming year, be thinking about something you might want to put in a time capsule, and we will seal that up towards the end of the year to be opened in 50 years. So Mayor and Commissioners, thank you, and happy birthday to Brunswick.
Thank you. We will make sure we put something in that time capsule to really espouse as to what we would do, what we stand for. Our city, what our city is, and it's all about unity. I wish we could put that big oak tree in it because that would be our tree of unity. However, maybe an acorn, maybe, I don't know, who knows? Maybe. Okay. Thank you, former mayors. I want to thank you also for being there for me when I needed to talk to somebody about what I'm doing here as the mayor. I really appreciate the conferences I had with you guys, the talks. It really meant a lot to me. It's helped me grow into this position. And hopefully I'll be able to do that to the next mayor as well, because that is invaluable. That's knowledge that's very invaluable. And I appreciate it. I really do. So thank you all. Appreciate it very much. Okay, let's move right along with our agenda. Tonight, we have a public hearing, alcohol beverage license, which is a new license. Officer Monday will be presented. Consider approval of a Merrimart 1001 First Avenue for retail sale of beer and wine.
Good evening, everyone. Yeah, this is a new ownership of a Merrimart #1 for Kinjal Patel. We have done background checks on him. Everything has come back. There's nothing that would prevent him from having a retail sale of beer and wine license. He does have ownership of the other Merrimart as well. And it's consideration for approval.
Okay. This is sale of beer and wine, but no
liquor.
Sales.
No,
Okay.
no, it's just retail sale of
Okay.
beer and wine. Yeah.
Yes. Commissioner, any comments? No comment, no questions. I entertain a motion for this new beverage license. It appears that everything seems to be in order according to Officer Monday.
Mr. Mayor, I offer motion that we approve the.
Excuse me, it's a public hearing. We have to open the floor.
Thank you.
Thank
That's
you,
why,
Naomi.
that's why we're Madam Clerk. Thank you. All right. So this is a new license. We have to have a public hearing, and I would like for anyone who speaks for or against the granting of this beverage license to please raise your hand or put something in the chat or step forward so we can hear what you have to say.
This thing just went off.
Madam Clerk, are there anything in the chat?
No, Mayor, no one in chat.
Does anybody want to get on board as a guest to speak?
No, Mayor.
Okay. All right, it seems that no one is stepping forward or against the granting of this alcohol beverage license. Commissioner, what's your will and pleasure?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to offer a motion that we approve the retail sales of beer and wine for the Merrimart #1 at 1001 First Avenue.
I'll second.
It's been properly motion second to approval of the alcohol beverage license at 1001 First Avenue for Merrimart #1. Further comments or questions? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed have the same right? Hearing none, looks like the ayes have it. That motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Thank you so very much. Okay, item number 3. Well, before we get to item number 3, I would like to ask Commissioner Williams for a comment that he'd like to bring forward.
Just real briefly, Mr. Mayor. I've thought long and hard about this, and I want to, at this point, officially place my name in nomination for the, candidacy for the position of mayor of the city of Brunswick in 2021. So my fellow commissioners and Mr. Mayor, I wanted to publicly do that and let the public know that I will be running for mayor in 2021.
Okay, thank you, sir. That's duly noted, and thank you for letting us know, bringing it out to in this forum. As a matter of fact, realizing that you have served on our commission for some time now. This is your second term as well, and that we know that we're seeing your support of the city, and so. You aspire to move on. That's great.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you, commissioners, for allowing me to allow him to do that. So we'll move to item number 3, which is rezoning petition number 20-07 from Jennifer Beto, which is the owner, petitioning to rezone 1502-1506 George Street from general industrial to general commercial. Mr. John Hunter is presenting.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Commission. As you stated, the requested rezoning is for 1502 to 1506 George Street. Jennifer Beato, the owner, has applied for this rezoning request. The subject parcel is roughly 0.39 plus or minus acres and currently contains 3 structures that have been unused for many years. One is a historic brick building that was built circa 1910 that was originally a corner grocer. And then the other buildings were added in the late 1960s. The parcel has been vacant for a number of years now and been used for storage. The parcel is currently zoned general industrial. Adjacent parcels to the south, east, and west are zoned general residential, and parcels to the north are zoned general commercial. To get you familiar here with the site, I'm going to share my screen here so you can see the zoning map. This is directly across George Street from the Ice House. So if we zoom in here, you can see it from above. It's the parcels outlined in blue. The owner has asked for rezoning to general commercial. It's the intent that the general commercial zoning district be developed and reserved for general business purposes. As with all rezonings, we look to our comprehensive plan for guidance when we're considering future land use and land use changes. Under the comprehensive plan, this property is in the Dixville Habersham Park character area. These historic neighborhoods date back to a period just after the close of the Civil War. Historic and newer single-family homes are mixed in the character area. The neighborhood is predominantly single-family homes with small parcel sizes and a wide variety of architectural styles. These are scattered. There are scattered commercial and industrial properties along MLK, as well as some scattered multifamily development. The Dixville neighborhood was added to the Georgia Register of Historic Places and the National Register of Historic Places in 2017. It is credited for being a largely residential neighborhood developed primarily from 1880 to 1919. as a cohesive African-American community. The district's a good example of planned residential community for Brunswick's working class African-American population, consisting of a variety of early house types typical for Georgia. The long-term vision for this area under the character area in the comprehensive plan follows that it should retain its predominantly single-family character, but that there can be some allowed commercial and mixed-use development within the area. Appropriate land uses include single-family residential, neighborhood scale, commercial or institutional, and mixed development, especially along MLK and community facilities. Rezoning of the parcels to general commercial will lessen potential impacts on the surrounding neighborhood as compared to general industrial, while allowing flexibility for the property owner to consider commercial or mixed use opportunities as they rehabilitate the building. The staff recommendation is to approve the rezoning. This did go to the Planning and Appeals Commission for a public hearing at their December 9th meeting. Discussion centered upon the zoning history of the property, the relation to the surrounding properties, the reasons for general commercial zoning instead of local commercial zoning, parking and hours of operation. No members of the public spoke for or against the application, and the Planning and Appeals Commission recommended approval of the rezoning request with some changes to the general commercial zoning listed in your packet starting on page 3. We have the permitted uses within general commercial listed, and all of the items in red note changes. All the strike throughs would be uses that are removed. Most of these are a little bit more intensive commercial, like hotels, bowling alleys, seafood processing centers, or that a church could be used there, allowed there as a conditional use. As you see on pages 3 and 4 of the staff report, there were a number of items that the Planning and Appeals Commission recommended removal for.
And those are specific to that property, correct?
Correct. That would be specific to that property.
Yeah.
Ms. Bieto, the applicant, is on the Zoom meeting, so she would be able to answer any questions about the particular for her plans. And of course, if you got any questions, I'm happy to answer them at this time.
I have one question that's probably a quick answer. Since MLK is the eastern boundary of the historic district, and this lies east of the boundary, does Ms. Beato not necessarily have to comply with any of the historic guidelines? In other words, if she, does she have to adhere to the 50% rule?
The 50% rule related to
Renovation.
the renovations.
Yeah.
So there is, so this is in the Dixville National Register Historic District. And properties with historic properties within National Register Historic Districts get some exemptions to the 50% rule. Primarily when you're dealing with your FEMA flood elevations, you're given a lot of flexibility there depending on the existing conditions. I think that area, though, I'd have to look at the map, which I don't have in front of me. I don't know that would necessarily come into an impact, but there would be life safety issues that would still need to come up to code. However, this is as you can see from the photographs, and I think a number of us are very familiar with that property, there's going to be a lot of work to get it into shape for use. So I think she's prepared to be able to do a good number of changes to the property.
And will the applicant, assuming that the request for petitioning to rezone the property is approved this evening, will she still need to come before the Planning Appeals Commission and then ultimately the full commission for site plan approval? Or will she now be conformed and compliant and can move forward.
Yes, she would be able to move forward. It would all go through our design review team. So we would all be looking at any of those potential code issues or anything to deal with FEMA or anything like that. There would be no other requirements to come to the Planning Commission or the City Commission. This is also outside of Old Town. And even though it is a historic district, we do not have a design overlay for that area. So she would not have to go through a certificate of appropriateness process.
Mhm.
The only thing would be if she did choose to go for historic tax credits or something like that, then there would be a review at the state level. But I don't believe she's considering that because of the overall condition of the historic building there. But the only thing that might need to come before the City Commission would be if there were an application for an alcohol license for some reason. And that falls under the commission's jurisdiction and not the Planning Commission.
Thank you.
Any further comments, Commissioner, for Mr. Hunter? And is the applicant here? I mean, online?
Yes, she is.
We'd like to comment.
Unmute her.
Please unmute Ms. Beato, please.
Is she there?
Yes, I'm asking Ms. Beato, you want to say something? I think your mic is still muted.
Okay, sorry. I thought you had to do that. Well, my plans are for the historic part of the building to remain intact. I've consulted with a few engineers. It seems to be structurally sound in the condition it's in. It will be an outdoor seating area. And most likely open a coffee shop in the indoor part. So.
Okay. Now, does this include everything in that property, the one on L Street, I mean, on MLK, and also the partial down? I mean, it was two partials in blue. Is that considered the whole thing?
Yeah.
Yes, sir, it is.
On George Street and also on?
It's on, I believe that's Stonewall Street that it backs up to. Yes.
Stonewall.
So it wraps that corner from, it goes MLK down George Street and then wraps around Stonewall Street.
So are just two parcels, or are these parcels just one parcel, and you're gonna petition to make it into one parcel?
It is currently two parcels.
Isn't it three?
It's just two.
Oh, it's two.
Yep.
So Ms. Beato probably come before us to consolidate the parcels to make one, and also with a site plan as to what she want to do there. I mean, whatever she's gonna put there. Yes or no?
If that's something I'll need to actually look at. It's built across the obviously built across the parcels now. It would be cleaner to combine them, but that's something actually we could do administratively after the creation of the Planning and Appeals Commission. And it doesn't require any action by the City Commission.
Yes, I see it is built across the parcel. I see that. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions, commissioners, that you have done the rezoning of this property?
No, I applaud Ms. Beato for picking a property that's just very much a diamond in the rough in many ways, but I would petition all potential investors that this is a spark in that area. And I'm so looking forward to the ripple effect. So thank you for being the impetus to take on this property and this challenge, and I wish you great success.
Thank you.
And I'm excited. This is Commissioner Harris. I'm excited to see what the fruition of this project is going to culminate into. So I'm excited to see it. When I was a kid, I walked past that property when it was a booming business, and so I've seen it from its peak to where it is now. So I'm excited to see what happens with it.
Okay.
And you're on a bike trail.
Yes, that is very important right there.
It is very important. That's huge. That's huge. You're ahead of the curve.
If you can stop by and get a cold drink and get some coffee or whatever. Anyhow, Commissioner, this is a public hearing. So I'll open it up to anyone who wants to speak for or against the granting of this petition, the rezoning petition. It has been has been through the Planning and Appeals Commission. So we are here tonight to anyone like to speak for or against the grant of this petition. Please either step forward, unmic yourself if you are, unmute yourself if you are on our Zoom virtual meeting, or put something in the chat so we know that you are here, have some comments concerning this petition. Anything, Madam Clerk?
No, Mayor, no one in chat.
Anybody on board that wants to talk? Comment?
No, sir.
Commissioners, close out the public hearing. So what's your will and pleasure, please?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to offer motion to approve rezoning petition number 20-07 for 1502 through 1506 George Street.
Second.
Okay, probably motion second for the granting of petition, rezoning petition number 20-07. Are there any further comments or questions? Hearing none. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed have the same right? Not hearing anything from the opposing side. Motion carries unanimous. Thank you so much, Commissioner. Thank you, Ms. Beato, for, as Commissioner Harris said, about willing to do things, and Mayor Pro Tem Martin said, former Pro Tem Martin said, and Mayor Pro Tem Harris. I gotta get used to that, you guys. Now.
Thank you.
You'll get it together.
Yes, so we are really looking forward to great things for that piece of property. So thank you so very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bato, right?
Beato.
Thank you so much.
All right, moving right along. We're at item number 4. We will receive an update from City Engineer and Public Works Director Garrett Aberson. He'll give us an update on regarding the L Street project, and I hope it's good news. This is 2021.
Yes, it is good news. We're finishing up the project. We completed the paving yesterday, so all the paving is done. We've got some minor, we've got to get the signage up, pavement markings, striping on the ground, and we've got some minor punch list work to do to get everything tidied up. Probably about a week's worth of work, and we'll open this thing up for traffic. Looking at and having an opening ceremony probably the week of the 18th, but we can certainly go ahead and open it to traffic before then if we get as soon as we get the punch list items completed. So we're right here at the end.
You know, I am so happy about that. Taking a while, but L Street does look good. I say so, and
I know people coming off the island, people using that road, that street, will probably think so. So it's very thankful to this commission for getting it done. And thanks, Garrow, for your leadership, getting it done and holding the line. And even though all the hardships or the whatever, even through the pandemic, you know, we have persevered, and your leadership has caused us to do great things. Our city manager, all the individuals of public works, the whole commission has done great things for L Street. And I know the citizens of Brunswick would be very, very well appreciative of that. So we'll look forward to that grand opening, and we'll look forward to a ride completely through on L Street.
I'd like to make sure that we really publicly announce that. You're right, there's been a lot of hardship. And I think we need to applaud those also who have kind of been sitting in the wings, waiting on this project to be completed. So.
And to pick, I'm glad you said that, Commissioner Martin. When we do the opening of the grand opening, I think we need to celebrate those businesses on L Street and allow them to participate and be a part of that celebration because, like Commissioner Martin said, they endured, and so we need to show them our appreciation.
I agree. I hope our city manager and assistant city manager is on board to hear. We'd like to do something with that, Garrow. So you guys make that happen.
We'll do that, certainly.
Okay. Commissioners, as we move right along, we just move. Thank you, Garrett, for the update. We really appreciate that. Again, L Street is something we've been trying to do for quite a while, and as I said earlier today, we got it done. And I'm really appreciative of being a part of this commission who have gotten things done. All right. Our next item is item number 6, which is consider item to approval. Consider approval of December 16, 2020 regular scheduled meeting minutes. We've had this in our package. And if there's no additional deletions to or corrections to that minutes, I would like to entertain a motion, please.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion, we approve the meeting minutes as presented.
Second.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Harris, and seconded by Commissioner Williams for the approval of our December 16, 2020 regular scheduled meeting minutes. Any further comments or questions? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed have the same right? Hearing none from the opposing side, that motion carries. Thank you. Item number 7, consider approval of resolution number 2021-01 to adopt qualifying fees for 2021 election. Our city clerk, Ms. Atkinson, is presenting. Or maybe not.
Oh, yes, Mayor. This is a resolution we have to prepare for the election, Board of Election, and it's a resolution qualifying the fees, which is 3% of the mayor and commission salary.
Let me ask you a question with that. If we would have put our election time during the same time as the county, will these fees be like that?
The fees will still remain the same. We just wouldn't have to pay for the election as we do now because it's not, it's not the same time as the county. It's separate.
Yes, okay. All right. Okay. So Commission, as you would notice, the fee structure for the election of for city officials for this year.
I'll make a motion that we adopt the qualifying fees for 2021 election as presented.
Second.
Thank you. Probably motion second for the adoption of resolution number 2021-01, adopting qualifying fees for our election coming up this year. Further comment? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Appears the ayes have it. Okay, that motion carries. Thank you. We'll move right along. Item number 8. Consider approval for submittal of the Joint Community Development Block Grant Mitigation Application for Glenn County Board of Commissioners. Ms. Monica Harden is presenting.
Yes, good afternoon, Commissioners. The item before you is to approve a joint community development block grant mitigation in conjunction with Glenn County. Grant funds would provide the resources to improve the stormwater drainage system that directly affects the College Park neighborhood. The partnership will allow to conduct the improvements in a city area while Glenn County will serve as a fiscal agent. This is a reimbursement grant, so the county would pay for the improvements and then get reimbursed by the grant. Please note that there is no local match required, but there's a lot of work that's already been done on this project, so that would count as leverage. Again, this partnership is intended to bring much needed improvements to an area that is continuously being flooded during heavy rains. So the documents before you is an agreement provided by DCA and 2 other forms that DCA is requiring that we submit with the grant application.
Thank you. Any comments, Commissioners?
The only comment I have is in looking at the maps that are part of this submission, it's really something when you see it from, a height, and you see the amount of impervious surface that was created from Golden Isles Plaza. Rooftops, paved surfaces, wherever that water goes, it's a lot of water.
Mm-hmm.
And those residents and folks in that College Park community, I mean, it's just one of those unintended consequences that had profound effects. So I'm really glad that this opportunity is available and that we can apply for it jointly. And it's all HUD funding or federal funding, and it doesn't require a match, but it's going to require a long time and a lot of work. And thank you for the work that's already been done and putting this whole grant together. It's great to see the city and the county work together on projects like this.
I have a question. You said that there's a portion that will be reimbursed to the county for whatever monies that they put out. Is that retro to the city as well for what the city has done based upon the storms, the natural disasters that occurred?
No, Commissioner. So the only thing that HUD is, if the grant is approved, the only thing that HUD will pay is to make the improvements on the stormwater drainage system. It's not connected to Hurricane Irma or any of the other hurricane public assistance projects. So that's a completely different pot of money. So this is just to make the improvements to the drainage system. And is it retroactive? No, ma'am. They will only give us back whatever we invest once the project kicks off.
Okay.
So you're talking about FEMA and GEMA, Commissioner or Mayor Pro Tem Harris?
Yes.
I guess that's a different pot of money.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, well, I'd like to say I'm just glad and happy that maybe we, city and county, can work together. And this is really a good idea, a good thing for us working together. It shows that we can do things for our community. And also, to me, it shows the fact that, like we said, unintended consequences of the water running into College Park, and that we together are trying to fix a problem that that basically that was caused unintentionally. But together we can do that. I think this community gonna see better relationships, better working relationships, better improvement as we move forward to help our whole community. So I think that's really something really good.
And also, Mr. Mayor, I think that this is an awakening for the future, for better planning perspectives to take these potentials into account.
I do have one question. Ms. Harden, this is a 4-phase project with an $8.275 million projected cost. What, and I apologize, I can't remember if it was given in the information, what the timeline is for that full completion?
So it is a very tight timeline. So once approved, we have 3 years to complete the project. We are able to request no cost grant extensions, just depending on the amount of time that we request will be based on how much, more we have to go. But again, there's a lot of work that's already been done. This is just one of those that is really and truly shovel ready. A lot of the engineering and design have already been done. We will have to follow federal procurement. Once the grant is awarded, we will have to follow federal procurement, and that takes a little bit of time. But I'm confident that, just having all the experience between all the engineers and the finance offices, will be able to get this done probably within 2 months.
Wow.
Not the construction part of it, but
Right.
the procurement part of it.
Right.
Get approved. Okay.
Mayor Pro Tem Harris,
Yes.
I do want to note that I think, and I don't know if Garo is still on the call or Kathy may know, but there was some allocations of funds for the College Park area. And if we get the grant, some of that money may not have to be used.
That was going to, thank you, Regina. That was going to be my next question. Because I know I was going to ask if this was going to allow us not to have to be able to put out the monies that we did plan for. So thank you. I'm glad to hear that part.
That's right. We set aside $1.5 million for construction of phase 1 in this current SPLOST. And so if we get this grant, we can turn around and reallocate that to a different project and use that differently.
Okay, great. And Monica, it's good to see you again. And for the city to be working with you again. You look well.
Thank you, Commissioner. I appreciate it. My pleasure.
Okay, any other comments, commissioners? If not, I entertain a motion, please.
I'll make a motion that we approve the submittal for the Joint Community Development Block Grant as mitigation application from the Glenn County Board of Commissioners for College Park area.
Second.
Motion second for item number 8, approval of the submittal of Joint Community Development Block Grant mitigation application with Glenn County Board of Commissioners. Any further comments or questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed have the same right. Hearing nothing from the opposing side, that motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Harden. I really appreciate that. And we look forward to doing nothing but great things with the county, with Glenn County Board of Commissioners. So please pass that on.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Appreciate your time.
All right, thank you, commissioners. Item number 9, consider approval of financial reports as of November 30th, 2020. Ms. Kathy Mills, our finance director, is presenting.
Good evening. You have the financial reports as of November 30th, 2020. That is at 41.67% through with the year. You'll see first the numbers for the general fund. I want to emphasize more the year-to-date number that shows net revenues over expenditures of 5.1 million. The monthly number is a little skewed because the expenditures only show as 176,000 because in November is when we booked the $850,000 that we received in CARES Act funding after the state of Georgia decided that they wanted it booked in the fiscal year ended 2021 as opposed to 2020, which is the offset. The expenses were incurred in 2020 that we offset, but they required it to be booked in 2021. So those expenditures for the month are down by the $850,964 that we booked as an offset to the public safety salaries that we were reimbursed by CARES. The cash balance is, my grand total is wrong, and I noticed that when we had the Finance Committee meeting the other day. The Prime South balance is correct at $2,011,000. The Georgia Fund 1 balance is not. That balance is the $6,249,000, which I'm showing is the total, but the total of cash Georgia Fund 1 is a grand total of $8,261,000. So I apologize for that. The lost distribution for the month of November was up in November this year as compared to last year, so that's still good news. We were up 4.31% for the month. Year to date, we're up 14.24%. Title ad valorem tax for the month was up 83.44%. Year to date, that number is up 22.23%. So we had a good bit of an increase in November. So we're looking forward to seeing whether that carries on. It should be an increase, but I don't know if it will continue to be 80-something%. And the second page is capital projects SPLOST 6. You'll notice we have cash on hand of $7,612,000. We have, you can see there what we've expensed, and compared to what we have budgeted, we still have a remainder of $5,921,000 to be spent. We also have in unallocated funds, if you'll see right under the block with cash on hand, we had an overage in collections of $1,836,000. That's the sales tax we collected, the special purpose local option sales tax that we collected from its inception of April 1st, 2017 through 9/30/20. That was what we collected over what we had initially budgeted. We also had the Georgia DCA aviation fuel tax, which was a one-time thing, and also interest earned as of November 30th, $218,312. Okay. On the next page for SPLOST 5, we still have $1,204,000 of the original $1,500,000 that we had budgeted to come out of SPLOST 5. We have a total cash balance, though, of $1,356,000. The majority of the difference there is the interest that's been earned on the account since the cash has been put in SPLOST 5. Norwich Street Commons, we had no activity other than some interest earned on the funds. There's a cash balance in Norwich Street Commons of $335,000. The Roosevelt Harris Multipurpose Center, we have grant money that we received of $85,000, a transfer from the general fund of $60,000, program income of approximately $4,000, contributions of around $4,000, for a total of $153,000, expenditures $127,000. We have a cash balance of approximately $5,000. In the sanitation fund, on the next page, we have total revenue $4 million, expenditures of $589,000, which gives us an operating income of $779,000. But once again, we have collected the majority of the fees that were on the property tax, so we'll see that number going down. A cash balance on hand of $565,000 in regular sanitation, and we have $194,000 of cash that we have restricted in case we need to pay some more into the T Street landfill. Sanitation bills, we have trash pickup of $134,000 for the month. Year to date, $633,000. Illegal refuse, $28,000, and street sweeping, $17,000. Stormwater utility, we have total inflows of $770,000, expenditures of $306,000, for a net of $465,000 with a cash balance at November 30th of $300,000. And I did want to point out that the month of November expenditures are so high because we paid $123,000 for our yearly lease, our capital payment on the GMA lease for those two big pieces of equipment. We pay 20% of the principal on those each year, and it's due just in November. It's a yearly payment. So that has already been paid. And additional information, there were no expenditures. Commissioner Williams had asked me the other day at the Finance Committee meeting if I could give him a little bit of a breakdown on the subsidized fees that were paid out in the Recreation Department. There were a total of 52 participants in county programs that we subsidized part of the fees on: 2 flag football, 11 soccer, 31 tackle football, and 8 cheerleading fees. And on the final page, we have the Roosevelt Lawrence Center. And you'll see the monthly figures. Apparently I cut off my grand total, but the grand total for the month of November for Roosevelt Lawrence is $5,601. And the year-to-date is $29,190. And that's basically, most of those expenses, of course, are for salaries and wages and personnel costs. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to try to entertain those.
I got one question. Didn't we put something in SPLOST 6 for the Roosevelt Lawrence Center?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last part.
Did we do it? Did we put some money in SPLOST 6 for Roosevelt Lawrence Center? And wasn't it, have we gotten to doing anything there yet to that?
No, no, sir. All the things that are listed on the left-hand side of that page came directly from the listing that we provided
Okay.
to the county when we did that.
All right, no problem. Just we got SPLOST coming up again, so.
Right.
Yeah, I think, Mr. Mayor, that's why we put the amount that we did for this prospective SPLOST when we were doing that list, because we hadn't done anything at anything of any magnitude at the Lawrence Roosevelt Center in a.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
But and I also had this question or an observation. We only had 52 participants. We need.
Yes, there were 52.
We got that's kind of pitiful. We've got to do something about that.
I think some of it may have still been related to COVID, but
yeah,
obviously that's,
I would agree.
That's not a good representation,
but we still hadn't had a bunch anyway. That's still a subject matter we need to get on top of. Is recreation.
Well, Commissioner, Mayor Pro Tem, I would say that some of those are probably duplicates of that 51 total number. Some of them are probably duplicates. Some of them probably play soccer and around and play tackle football at some point in time, or cheerleading or whatever the sports were. So
yeah, there may have been some duplicates. I looked down the list today because it gives me a list of the names of the participants and their addresses. And I briefly looked down it. I didn't, cross-reference all of them, but most of them were separate people, I think.
Right.
Well, a few were duplicates.
Well, I think we have a recreation committee that's been formed or will be formed for when recreation reverts back to the city anyhow. So the recreation department. So I think, especially when Howard Coffin reverts back to the city, I think it will be next year. But you're right, that's something that we should be aware of and something we should take a look at too, as well as how many people we are really, really supporting. And so the fees, it may be result as Commissioner Williams said, of COVID, I don't know. But it's something that we need to take into consideration as we move forward. Any other comments on, you heard the financial report. Any other comments concerning the presentation by me? If not, I'll entertain a motion, please.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to offer a motion to accept the finance report as presented.
Second.
Motion second for, to accept the finance report as presented. I'm pretty sure this finance report will pass through the finance committee as well. Am I hearing yes?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
No further questions or comments? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed have the same right? It appears the ayes have it. That motion carries. Thank you, Commissioners. Item number 10, consider approval to contribute matching portion of $16,000 to support the grant application for the Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, Altalma Avenue Bicycle Corridor Study. Ms. Regina McDuffie, our city manager, is presenting.
Good evening and Happy New Year to everyone. This is a request that came from the BATS committee, the policy committee and technical committee of the BATS program is in support of this study being conducted. It is asking the city to provide a $16,000 local match, which is 20% of the total project estimated cost of $80,000. This particular study is a part of the, I guess it was recommended in the Glenn County Bike and Multimodal Trail Study that was conducted back in 2016. And this is a portion that is in the city. The MLK Altalma Bike corridor will go from the downtown area out to Lexi. I did look at that, and I presume there is a small portion that is in the county. It's about a 6.5 mile approximately trail or corridor. And basically they are asking us to provide the local match for the grant application. Of course, you know, the grant study will allow us to plan and develop impacts of what the corridor will look like. It'll help make recommendations for the design and also, you know, look at the connectivity to other routes. It will also provide, you know, looks at the intersections and how this will impact the traffic routes that it goes through. And of course, continue, you know, like you were saying, the bike routes that are going by local and not only existing business, but future businesses. We recommend for approval of the local match so that the application can be made through the BATS committee. The application will be made to the Georgia Association of Metropolitan Planning Organizations and will be submitted within the next couple of months. With that, I'll entertain any questions.
Any questions for our city manager?
I have one on the GAMPO grant. I understand that the city is moving forward with the responsibility of the study with a match of $16,000. If this is approved this evening and we move forward with that study and the project comes to fruition and the implementation is at hand, I'm assuming that we would work with the county on the cost of their portion, or they would contribute towards the construction of the project of that 6.5 mile from the edge of the city boundaries to the end of Altalma Avenue where it connects to Fletsy. Is that correct? Yeah. Okay. So this just gets us through the study portion, and then there would be other grants that we could apply for the implementation.
Yes, and you know, we could provide funding through SPLOST, and the funding for this particular portion of the study will be paid out of the current SPLOST as well, from the trails and funding.
And we could look to utilize any additional funding, say from PATH or from DNR, some of their grant opportunities. And I'm sure there's probably others.
Yes.
Okay. How long do you anticipate that the study might take?
I believe they said the study, the application, and including the study would be up to 12 months. So it's probably going to be next spring, summer before the study results are completed.
So we don't necessarily have a consultant yet that's doing that study, but we would certainly put out an RFP for those applicants that might.
Yes, and that would go through the BAT
Yeah,
committee.
right. Okay, thank you.
Hey, this is Gary. Just to give you a little bit more on that timeline, if it follows the timeline of our past two grants, Gloucester Street and Bay Street, we would get the grant probably early summer, go through the approval and contracts and everything. The county would select the contractor, or we'd go through the county in selecting the consultant. And probably get the project underway late summer, July or August. And typically they're 9 to 12 month projects ending up early or late spring, early summer of 2022.
That's good. That's good. I think we want to become a biking community anyhow with better sidewalks. That would be even great, I think.
Well, the nice thing is the MLK Altama corridor is very wide. So it just makes a great opportunity to add dedicated bike lanes and a safe route for folks that want to have that form of transportation through that, that straight corridor area, north-south, which is great.
And from a finance committee perspective, we looked at this and I think what we were told is that once we get the study in place, it'll be easier to apply for other grants that are available, that might be available to us for these trails. So we thought it would be a good idea to move this forward so that if grants become available, we can apply and be in a position to move things forward when everything is done.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner, for making that point. I also wanted to make the point that, when we go through the study process, it also allows for public input and people to provide feedback on, the plans that are being presented.
I think it's a great project.
Thank you.
Okay. Any further comments on this? The study may reveal that we can put in something like the belt line that Atlanta has. I think it's called the belt line. They may reveal that, then we can do that. I think we are moving forward in a good direction to make our community a bikeable, walkable, bikeable. When people get out and walk, they do a lot of things. They sightsee, they see more of our city than they do just riding around in cars. So anyhow, Commissioner, for the comments.
I'm assuming the Finance Committee has looked at the budget for the 16,000.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we reviewed it.
I'll make a motion that we approve contributing the matching portion of 16,000 to support the grant application for the Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard Altama Avenue bicycle corridor study through BATS.
Second.
Okay, probably motion is seconds for consider approval of the matching portion of 16 grand to support the grant application for MLK and Altama Avenue bicycle corridor study. Any further comments? Hearing all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Anything? Hearing none from the opposing side, that motion carries. Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you so very much. All right, we're down at now item number 10A. Resolution for SPLOST with the county. I don't have that resolution in front of me. Can someone read it off, please?
I'm happy to read. You want me to read the full resolution?
Just read it off.
This is a resolution of the Board of Commissioners of the City of Brunswick requesting Glenn County commence the process to impose a 1% sales tax in use and requesting the call for an election of the voters of Glenn County to approve the imposition of such tax and for other purposes. Whereas Article 3 of Chapter 8 of Title 48 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated the act authorizes the county to enact the imposition of a 1% sales and use tax, SPLOST, for the purpose and inter alia of financing certain capital outlay projects identified by the county and any qualified municipalities located therein. And whereas the City of Brunswick, Georgia, the city, being the only qualified municipality located within Glenn County, has determined that it is in the best interest of the citizens of the city to request that Glenn County pass a resolution to lawfully impose a SPLOST to assist in the funding of capital outlay projects identified by the city. And whereas pursuant to Georgia law, the City of Brunswick Mayor and Board of Commissioners met jointly with the Glenn County Board of Commissioners on December 1st, 2020 and January 5th, 2021 to discuss the imposition of the SPLOST. And whereas it is the consensus of the parties that the county call for a referendum to be placed on the ballot for the March 16th, 2021 special election to be voted on by the citizens of Glenn County. And whereas it is also the consensus of the parties to call for a 3-year SPLOST. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Mayor and Board of Commissioners acting in its capacity as the governing authority of the City of Brunswick, Georgia, that Glenn County pass a resolution imposing a 1% sales and use tax as authorized by Article 3 of Chapter 8 of Title 48 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated, specifying the purposes for which the proceeds of such tax are to be used, specifying the period of time for which such tax may be imposed, specifying the estimated cost of the facilities to be funded from the proceeds of such tax, requesting the election superintendent to call an election of the voters of Glenn County to approve the imposition of such sales and use tax and approving the form of ballot to be used in such election. Resolved this 6th day of January, 2021.
Thank you, Commissioner Martin. I wanted that read into the record. I believe our city attorney probably will have some comments.
I think that the resolution, I tried to keep it brief. As we discussed last night, you know, the true enacting legislature of a SPLOST is done by a county. But because we are the only qualified municipality within Glenn County, this resolution is obviously requesting that the county initiate that process. And I believe they will be taking up similar discussion at their meeting tomorrow night. So what this is doing is just sort of reiterating the discussion points from last night's meeting and asking that the county initiate that process.
Okay. Commissioner, you heard the resolution read read to us by Mr. Martin. And heard also the comments by our city attorney, Mr. Brian Corey. Are there any comments that you may have? Realizing that it was stated in the resolution for a 3-year SPLOST. Commissioners, if there's no comments, I will entertain a motion, please.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to offer a motion that we approve the resolution for the SPLOST as presented.
Second.
Second.
Motion and second for approval of the resolution SPLOST as presented. Any further comments? Madam Clerk, will you call the roll for me, please?
Yes, Commissioner Kaysen, how do you vote?
Commissioner Kaysen, you're muted.
You hear me?
Yes.
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 Commissioner Martin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Williams, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Harris, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mayor Harvey, how do you vote?
Yes. So, Commissioners, that motion carries unanimously.
we'll get this post haste to the county commission as they make their decision on tomorrow in their meeting tomorrow. So thank you so very much. Thank you, our city attorney, for getting this to us in a quite expeditious way. So appreciate that very much. I want to say we did have some discussion last night concerning the SPLOST, concerning the time frame, and but I'm glad this commission is very supportive of moving forward as we are. Okay. Item number 11, review and update list for proposed special purpose local option sales tax number 7. Ms. McDuffie, our city manager, is presenting.
Yes, well, I guess in retrospect of the meeting last night and the county commission comments regarding the amount, I think after their meeting tomorrow, because the information that I had presented to you all was based on the recommendations that have been formulated by the county manager and myself and the economists from the college. And it provided a $68.5 million total for the SPLOST for the 3-year period. That information, I had pared down the original list of SPLOST projects, to the 13.2 million, and given that to you all for comment and input, and whatever revisions and requests that you may want to make. At the meeting last night, of course, there was some discussion regarding the 68 million. So I'm assuming that at the meeting tomorrow, the county commission hopefully will confirm what their recommendation is going to be, or approval of the amount that we have for disbursement, of which the city gets their 19.32% for the upcoming SPLOST. So based on that, we will certainly have to or need to make modifications if they change that amount. With that being said, the pared down list, I'm still, basically taking comments from the commissioners, and I have made a couple of modifications. I know Mayor Pro Tem Harris asked about the Norwich Street redevelopment funds, and I have not confirmed yet. I will work on that and see where that $140,000 came from, and what, if there's any recommended modification of that. There was also a recommended change from the mayor that consisted of reinstating some of the funds for the parking garage, so that we can add some planning and design money for that parking, downtown parking infrastructure project, and was requested to put approximately $300,000 in that. The funding for that would come from the street paving and the storm drainage improvements at $200,000 and $100,000 respectively. So that's the only input that I've gotten from this list, and the only modifications that have been made, other than the ones that I made to pare it down. But still, in order to get to where we need to be by the time the county is publishing their resolution, we just need to firm up our list once we know exactly what the amount is going to be.
So there's really nothing that we need to approve tonight. We really have to wait until the county has their meeting tomorrow, correct, Brian?
Yes, and I'm hoping, like I said, I hope they understand, that we really need to finalize this soon, so that they will go ahead and confirm that the amount tomorrow.
Okay.
I reiterate, I think that I hope that the amount will be confirmed as well. I think if you recall at last night's meeting, I can't remember if it was Mayor, but it might have been Commissioner Harris that brought it up. the difference in what they're projecting or what they were discussing, it does make a significant difference in what the city would be looking at from the 13.2. I think it's almost a $1.2 million cut if they were looking at the more conservative number that's been provided. So it'd be a significant, impact on this list. So it's almost futile to do anything right this second until we know that number tomorrow.
I would hope maybe that they perhaps, I mean, this is my opinion, come to the conclusion that if it sunsets based on time of 3 years, that's really probably going to be optimal as opposed to trying to chase a dollar figure, especially in light of COVID and all those uncertainties moving forward. It just seems like sunsetting it at a time specific date of 3 years would be more prudent than a dollar figure. That's my opinion.
Yes, I agree. I also wanted to note that I did add in the original listing that was published did not have any public works equipment, and I think I noted that before. And also I put in some money to support the other park improvements. So that we can continue to make improvements to the various parks around the city.
Okay. City Attorney, I got one question to ask you about, we had some discussion last night about the conference center. I know this is just not dealing with this list here, but were we supposed to discuss something concerning that?
We quite frankly, we didn't have enough time to put together the options that were discussed last night. What we have done is set up a meeting with the county attorney and city manager, and we're going to sit down and try to discuss options so that we can sort of paint a better picture for the full commission as to what's available.
Okay.
Apologies, but with getting the resolution together and just a couple other things, there just was not enough time between tonight and last night and tonight.
Okay, well, I'm gonna ask Ms. Hamilton to give us something at our next meeting. No, give us something probably in writing as to kind of reiterate what was said concerning that issue we're dealing with.
And I did reach out to Rita Spalding, who's also assisting with Rise Risley and Miss Hamilton, and she's also we're trying to coordinate it all to get all the information together we can in a quick timeline so that we can provide the information to the commission and to discuss it amongst ourselves as well.
Okay.
And please make sure you allow us time to be able to consume the information.
Yeah.
I think I believe have a meeting Friday morning set up, and that was the earliest that everybody could sort of put it together. But yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I think we were all a bit blindsided yesterday, but
Kind of, sort of, but I think it is something we should consider. We consider all options, as someone said before. No matter what, all options should be at least be considered. So
Yeah. It was. I mean, it was it's a good concept. It's just having that information to consume and be familiar with what it's about, so we can make an educated decision as we move forward with it. But I think that the concept of it is something that's much needed for the city of Brunswick, and especially for that area, which is one of the most impoverished areas of the city of Brunswick. So I think it's a good concept. It's just getting the information and consuming it and seeing what's the most appropriate avenue.
most appropriate, yes.
Well, one positive that I pulled from last night's meeting, despite the, I guess the presentation coming sort of unexpectedly, was that, there are rare opportunities where the county commission and the city commission is participating in a meeting of that magnitude. And I think for the county commissioners to show some response and positive support of that project during that time was a very good outcome for, you know, just the introduction of it. At least they were willing to consider some options that would possibly support the future development of the Rise Risley project.
Yeah,
I agree.
all of them pretty much, all of them seem to be on board. I think everybody was kind of at the same places, just getting the information so we can make the best decision for everyone. And so I think the county commission, from what I saw, like you said, Regina, was very, very accepting and receptive to working together on that project.
Okay, well, I asked Ms. Hamilton to get something to each one of you all so we can all sing from the same sheet of music. You know, I know she's online right now, but I'm pretty sure questions, once we get the information, then we should be able to ask, have more informed questions to her concerning what we want to do. However, we still need to find out what the county commission is going to do, the county attorney, our city attorney, the county administrator, and also our city manager, when y'all get together and find out exactly how we're going to move forward. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for that. As we move forward with our agenda here, item 12, which is city attorney item, discussion amendment to City of Brunswick Clean Community Ordinance. Mr. Brian Corey is presenting.
And good evening again. What you have before you tonight, if you recall at the end of last year, the city amended the stormwater management ordinance. That was something that we were doing in concert with Rob Brown at Godwin. I can't remember, I can never remember the firm's name, but the engineer, he is assisting us looking over the stormwater management ordinance. We're doing it to secure our EPD permit. And in part of that, one of the suggestions that they looked at related to stormwater management was also looking at our clean community ordinance, which was, I believe, finalized in 2015. So the city has a comprehensive clean community ordinance, which is essentially our litter ordinance. But one of the things that they looked at in addressing that is, if you take a look at your ordinance amendment, section 25-13 is litter on occupied private property. And when they took a look at that and they saw the various subsections of that, they suggested this new section 25-13.4 is control of litter and debris on construction sites. I mean, I think it's a good recommendation, good suggestion, and it clearly goes hand in hand with stormwater management in that if you have a construction site where there is debris, discarded building materials, washout, chemicals, litter in general, whatever it might be, as stormwater rolls through that construction site, it is clear that there's a likelihood or potential that that contamination could ultimately reach our marsh or river. So they've asked that we add that amendment to this section. So that's all that this ordinance amendment is doing, is adding this very specific regulation when it is regards to construction sites. The draft you have before you, I've actually made one change to it. I spoke to Commissioner Martin earlier today, and she asked, as we were looking it over, it currently, it would read construction site operators must control waste on waste such as discarded building materials, concrete truck washout, chemicals, litter, and sanitary waste at the construction site that may cause adverse impacts to water quality. As we were talking about a couple things today, I added language in it to now read construction site operators, whether the site be residential, commercial, or otherwise, must control waste such as discarded building materials, concrete truck washout, chemicals, et cetera, et cetera. So we just wanted to make sure that that would capture any and all, construction sites, whether it be a residential permit, commercial, industrial, whether it could be I don't want it to only be thought of as maybe like a new commercial building construction site's only going to be the only one that falls under this. So just expanded the language a little bit. And this is the first reading. So if it's the will of the commission, we would look to advertise and then bring it back at the next commission meeting for approval.
Any comments, commissioners? I know Commissioner Martin has given some comments. Anyone else have given comments concerning a clean community ordinance?
I don't remember seeing this in there, but I know we talked about this some years ago, maybe on my first term, because we were dealing with some of the construction that was downtown. Have we given any further thought to screens?
In terms of like the fencing that.
A debris fence or like a visually screening?
Oh,
5 to 6 feet. I don't know.
Or a screen on our stormwater washout.
Yes.
I do kind of remember that discussion. I'd have to defer to Garrow on that. And I think he might still, I see that he might still be on him.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
Mayor,
Garrow.
we've looked at that, and those, while they can be effective, they're a tremendous maintenance issue. You know, if they're not maintained, if for some reason they were to get clogged, you can have some flooding problems very quickly with those type devices in place.
You're talking about like the apron that's on the ground.
Yes.
It's staked in, it's only 2 feet high. Is that correct?
Well,
No, I
no, they
think what-
would actually be at the mouth of the of where the water runs off.
Stormwater drain.
Yes.
A filter that
Yes,
sits
that's it,
inside
Commissioner.
the structure, which it captures the solids or stuff coming through.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yes, they can be effective, but they can also be a tremendous maintenance issue as well.
I think what Felicia's talking about is the Newcastle project that ran on so long that we got caught several times down there by interested people with things going in the stormwater drain with no protection whatsoever. Is that correct, Felicia?
Yeah, yes, you're dead on spot, Commissioner Casey.
I remember it well.
Also, Garrett, you keep saying, well, you say it's going to be a maintenance problem. It probably will be, but we're having drains stop up now anyhow. So
yes,
go out and unclog them. So, you know, that might be something we need to look into. Now, it may not, we have to have it at every drain, but the ones that we know that we have issues with always get stopped up. So we may need to put them there.
It serves a purpose.
Yeah, and you took the thought right out of my head, Mayor. I mean, we talked about, but we need to get serious about really looking into it. I hear what Garrow is saying, but as you've already said as well, Mayor, what we're doing now is not preventive. So maybe we need to look into some proactive prevention.
Yes.
Can I make a suggestion, Mr. Mayor? And I don't know how Garrow could work this in, but I think we need to have all of our drainage system on some type of cleaning rotation so that we don't wait until there's an issue. But we have these drainage, well, we know we have problems. Let's go and clean these areas, make sure that they're clean on a rotation so that when we do have a storm or a big rain, we won't have that continuation of the same problem. At least we'll have the drainage clean.
Garrow, have you hired your ditches and drains crew yet? The new crew you're supposed to hire?
No, sir, we have not gotten applicants for those positions yet. Those are advertised, but they've not been filled yet.
Okay.
But as Commissioner Williams was stating, that is something that we are working on. We want to be more proactive and clean out some of the ditches that hadn't been cleaned out in a long time. So I will continue to, push forward with trying to get us where we're better maintaining and being more proactive with our cleanouts, and try and get this crew established as soon as possible.
I'd like to see some costs and projections on those screens.
You know, it's been 2 times my son has been flooded out on Union Street, and I have asked for exactly this kind of dialogue and have sent information about that, and I've not really and truly gotten any input as a result.
Here's the chance here, Commissioner Kaysen, that they get
Pardon
us.
me?
I said, here's the chance here.
No, this was information that I provided after the floods. And I asked for the very specific information. Where are the schedules? What's going on? I've gotten no input.
Right.
I don't know if there are schedules right now, but
I've gotten no input though, you know, and that's, now we're into this dialogue right now in the public.
Well, it needs to be in the public because it's not only.
It does. That's why I'm bringing it up. Exactly.
You know, not only you flooded, but a lot of Brunswick flooded as well.
You're 100% correct. We need schedules for all of our maintenance.
I think Garo and them is working on that. Say, for one thing, to actually try to hire a crew that would do those things to help alleviate some of that. I think that is a step in the right direction. And as we move forward too with all that, there'll be a rotational, I'm assuming, rotational schedule to make sure those things are cleaned out, not just spotting whatever. No, a rotational schedule to keep them ditches and drains clean.
Mayor, I will try and find out what we have available right now and communicate that to the commission.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Of those screens would be.
So I guess to go back to the current
What's before you right now?
Yeah, right. I think it's a great draft. I know we've talked about it over the phone. So I would say move forward to the degree that maybe we could approve something at the next commission meeting if that's the plan.
Corey, is there some way that you can also draft something in there about the screens for construction sites, especially where there's drainage, or stuff being seeped into the city drain?
They would be required to obtain, so the silt screening that we're talking about would be, the black, fencing that go around. They'd be required to obtain that, but I'd probably need to talk to Garo about that to see exactly what the requirements were for that, because that might already be covered in a different regulation. This is more of like the litter, the debris that is on top. But yes, I mean, I'll work with Garo too, and maybe we can either cross-reference or add some.
I'm thinking more of like when guys go out to the corner or the street or wherever to wash out their paintbrush. And we got.
Yeah, that would be in violation of this new amendment for sure.
That's what
yes, sir. This new amendment is intended to prevent and stop or punish if they were to discard that type of building material. And I think, I know exactly what you're talking about. You see often they could this would even prevent if they were washing out their paint in the corner of the lot, even though it's seeping, it's going just into the dirt, not necessarily directly into our stormwater drain. This would still prevent that. It should prevent both or punish both incidences.
So Brian, the draft amendment of this ordinance, is the entire ordinance new, or because it's very hard. A lot of times you're great about having in red what's new or.
This should be, is this not red line? Can y'all not see red lines?
No, it's not red.
So that's a challenge to us because we don't know what's.
I send it in red line. I do not
I
know
don't know
why
what
that is.
happens then, because this is the second time that's happened.
Yes.
So I guess we have to ask our city clerk and, you know, whoever's preparing our.
Well, what I might do, and I might send a PDF that I know would show, because I send it to Word, usually to Naomi, because then Naomi can, you know, edit and amend as necessary, add the ordinance number. So I might also send an additional PDF that would, you know, lock in and show the redlining. So all that should here, I can actually, let me just really quickly, because
Share your screen.
yeah, the clean community ordinance is a massive, you know, ordinance that was rewritten with the help of a grant from KGIB several years ago. So all that was done here, and let me know if you can see my screen.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
We
So-
don't have that.
Okay.
We
I
got the
understand. I'm
words, but
sorry.
it's, we don't know what's new, what's old, what's being proposed.
I apologize. Okay.
Oh.
So when I looked through the clean community ordinance, and actually Rob did this working with Garrow, they identified this particular section of the clean community ordinance is, you see section 25-13 is a section titled litter on occupied private property, and then the 13.1, 13.2, 13.3 are so falling within that realm, and so that would be the new 25-13.4. That is all that is new, but because it's part of the greater you know, section 25-13, I showed everything that was already covered there. So that's my fault. You know, we'll definitely figure out a way to fix this, but yeah, that is all that is new, is this construction site scenario, because when they were looking, you know, they're looking at it from a stormwater management, you know, perspective, to make sure that this is in there, and that these types of things are obviously can be directly you know, sent to our stormwater and cause pollution and all that. And I also, because Leah and Keep Going On Is Beautiful were so, you know, sort of part of this clean community ordinance, I sent it to her and said, hey, listen, we're going to add this section. I personally think it's a good addition, and it's something that's been recommended as part of getting our EPD permit. So I think it's good, and she gave it the thumbs up. So sorry about that. That is the only portion of this.
It's not your fault, and you probably don't receive exactly what we do. So it's just challenging for us, because we don't know what's being added, what's already there.
No, I should start checking what is in the, I usually work from the online agenda, but I'll make sure that it, maybe that's why it's not showing up. I don't know, but.
Yeah, well, because you can see the changes. If you're sending it just in Word, then the track changes may not be on that document that you're actually sending. So you just got to make sure that the documents match up, because I see the track changes on this one that you have up, but when we pull up ours, I don't think we see all of that stuff for track changes and all of that stuff.
No.
Got it.
Yeah, we don't.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So it's actually a very small amendment to a much larger chapter of the City of Brunswick ordinances, but it's one that, you know, is probably a good idea to put in.
So what we need to do is approve.
Just to say that the consensus would be to.
And even further through discussion tonight.
Right. So I probably will try to go and work with Garrow and talk about what Commissioner Williams asked about. And even then, if we come back with the language, we might be able to get that done the next day or two, so I can get it to Naomi when she needs to advertise, and then we could still bring it back for approval at the second commission meeting in January.
Let me just interrupt here. I know we have you doing something that's top priority right now, so I don't.
Yeah.
So
I think we knocked this out pretty quickly. Once Garrow got my attention, we knocked it out pretty quickly. So I think we could probably get, this isn't something that I foresee taking a tremendous amount of time.
Okay, well, I'm just saying, you know, if you want to put it back to the first of the month, our first meeting in February would be just as fine.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so that's fine.
Thank you, Brian.
You.
No problem.
Yeah, thank you, Brian.
Also, thank you. You're right. We need to see the comparison because we don't. We have a little. We don't know exactly what's being proposed to be thrown out, what's been put in. So thank you. So we will get all that straightened out. Commissioners, and anything else bring before this commission before I ask for executive session? If there's none, is there a need for executive session?
Yes, litigation and real estate, and it will be brief.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn to executive session for real estate and litigation.
Second.
Motion second for us to adjourn to executive session for litigation and real estate. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposers, it seems like the opposers not here. So therefore, that motion carries. So we will adjourn to executive session for real estate and litigation. Afterwards, we come back to our regular meeting and dismiss in case any other thing has to be brought before our commission. So therefore, we stand adjourned to executive session. I'll see you there. You gotta go in there. I think hopefully.
Marcia. Marcia.
got 3. We're back. All we got to do is have 3.
2 of the bill gathered in my question, I will be there.
In the midst.
That's what he said.
Say you spill, Mr. Mayor.
Hey, is everybody back? So I have 3. I got me, I got Julie, I got,
Commissioner Harris.
Everybody but Johnny.
oh, okay, well, I want to thank you all for a good meeting tonight. Also, please be note that Commissioner Williams announced his candidacy for the mayor, for the mayorship. Let that be part of the record that we know of. That's happening in our city here.
And I appreciate your support.
No problem. All hearts and minds clear. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
There's probably motion second to adjourn. I see you here, Commissioner Casey. Thank you for coming back. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Well, everybody, Happy New Year. I'll see you soon. And we stand adjourned.
Happy New Year. Bye-bye.
Good night.
All right.